What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. We are down here. Have nothing to talk about. It's Thursday. No, I don't know what day. I don't be knowing what day it is. I just be going, girl. I don't know what day it is. It's Thursday. I still haven't reviewed Real Housewives of New Jersey. I have to watch the episode over again, actually, because the first time I watched it, I was not paying attention. I told you I wanted some red frames. I want some red frames. How are these? Did you see the nail? The nail made an appearance in the. What do you like? You like the black glass? I like the black glasses. I was gonna put a denim jacket on, but I was like, I don't feel like putting on denim. I'm at home. I'm not going anywhere. I'll put on my old favorite jacket, my old faithful Adidas. It's always the black and the white stripes. I can't do nothing. I have red in there. I have all kind of colors in there. Red. I have red with blue stripes, red with white stripes. But the red with white stripes, the sleeves are too long, and I really be pushing the sleeves up. It's when I say it's super big on me was when I was a little bit bigger, when the diva was a little bit fluffier. It was still big then, so I know it's super big now. Anyway, so we don't have really nothing to talk about. I did see this.
I sponsor the now. Yes. I sponsor the blog. Let me tell you something.
This morning that the City Girls have officially split up on paper, which it's the end of an era. The City Girls, JT and Young Miami, officially broke up. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what to say, really. You know, there's nothing to really say. Um, but yeah, girl, it's over with. Hold on, I'll be right back. I don't even know why. I don't even know why I stopped it. Why is my eye watering? Let's dance. Let's dance. Get up here. Okay, y'all. So, yeah, JT and Young Miami have split up. Let's check. Oh, I didn't even check the volume. Let me check it. Hold on. Here, I did it once again. I don't know why I was talking for a long time. I don't even know what was missed. Did I talk about the City Girls? I don't know. I was talking about the City Girls, and then I started it again. Oh my God, I don't even know. And I just so happened to look up and see that the red numbers weren't counting down. All right, let's do this. So let me repeat what I was saying about the City Girls, and I'll just edit it out if I said it again, but I don't feel like going back. Girl, I am so annoyed right now. I talked about Corey Haim. I talked about why I wore my bandana like this. Why I showed you images. I was even putting the phone up to the thing like this and didn't even see it until I just happened to look up and like, girl, it's not even recording. You just running your mouth and laughing and you're not talking to nobody. It's bad enough you talking to yourself. You really not talking to nobody when you recording it. Anyways, Young Miami and JT have officially split on paper. It says in the track list of Camila Cabello's upcoming album, it features JT and Young Miami separately. It doesn't list them as the City Girls, so they're probably not together on paper anymore. And everybody's like, JT is going to be fine on her own. While y'all surprised, you guys don't support them anyway. Is this legal paper? Y'all be reaching. To be honest, when JT let her girlfriend go in on live, that's when it changed. People grow apart, such as life. Young Miami ain't been the same since Diddy went to jail. Seems like this is what the world was waiting on, and they played into it. Damn, JT, let's go. JT said it's okay. So shout out to the City Girls. It's an end of an era. They had their run, and they can't laugh. And that kind of, anyways, that type of rap, the way that they rap, that can only like it's a novelty, and it wears off. It literally does wear off. A lot of these girls, they're gonna have to grow up. They're not gonna because it like they're just gonna have to grow up. The things that they talk about in their raps, they're just gonna have to grow up. Like, I mean, I think the perfect person who did that, or two of the people who really did that well, was Jay-Z and Nas. Like, you could like the what's coming out of their mouth. They talk about the stuff, but it still is like age appropriate. It's relevant to what they're probably experiencing. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. I mean, yeah, you can fuck niggas for your whole life, but and trying to get money out of niggas and stuff like that, that is like that kind of that rhetoric can that's only a short time for a woman to experience. I mean, that kind of lifestyle. The girls, they keep trying to experience. Did y'all hear about Oprah? It says that Oprah went into the hospital, y'all. It says Oprah hospitalized with stomach complications amid revealing that she's taking weight loss medication. White, cis male, heterosexual, Christian, thin. People don't care. They do not care about the health. They just want to get to the thin. And we live in a society that markets that type of self-loathing to women specifically. Men suffer from it too, but it's marketed to women. The body dysmorphia, looking at yourself, seeing something that you don't like, other people looking at you and being like, you look fine, like you look okay, you're not fat or any of that, you know. And Oprah, we know for as long as we've known Oprah, weight has been her shadow. Her weight has been her shadow. And this Ozempic thing comes out, and now she's finally able to participate and get to the size that she's wanting to get to. But when you look at and read up on what your body is actually doing when you're taking these medications, that is for diabetes, but a side effect is weight loss. So everybody's been taking it. Everybody's been getting prescribed. The doctors don't care. Like, literally, doctors are going to be like, yeah, take it. Like, they know the side effects. They know you're going to be back. They know it's going to put you in some type of the hospital industrial complex. It's going to put you back so they can practice more medicine on you. Yeah, take it. Yeah, you're going to have some side effects, and that will be money for the next doctor. Go ahead and take it. They don't care. The doctors do not care. Well, shout out to the medical professionals, but some of them don't care. They don't. And they get it, girl, they don't. The pharmaceutical rep is coming in there like, oh, you got some people who want to lose weight. We could get you the Ozempic. And here it comes. And they just writing the prescriptions out. Here you go. So it says, television personality star Oprah Winfrey was recently hospitalized because of a stomach problem that left her excreting from both ends, said her best friend Gayle King. According to the Daily Mail, Gayle made a candid confession on Tuesday, hoping Oprah would not be upset by her indiscretion. Gayle was meeting author David Warbluski, whose latest book, Familiaris, was chosen by Oprah for her book club. Typically, Oprah announces her book club picks herself, but she was sick on Tuesday and couldn't go to the show. So Gayle did it, where she had comments on her current condition. She had some kind of stomach thing where stomach flu stuff was coming out of both ends. I won't get too graphic, said Gayle. But needless to say, she ended up in the hospital dehydrated, and we had an IV. So it was a very serious thing, the news anchor continued. After vividly explaining the reason behind Oprah's absence, Gayle said, I hope she's not mad at me for sharing that detail. I would be mad if my friend got on the internet and was like, yeah, Erica, she has something coming out of both ends. Are you okay, Gayle? Gayle been really acting beside herself. Y'all saw that when she told Lenny Kravitz, are you dating? Who is she so I could beat her ass? Fucking Gayle. A few 5 months ago, Winfrey admitted to having used the weight loss drug similar to Ozempic. Rumor was that she was on Ozempic last year. As rumors grew, Oprah finally admitted it in December that she had given up and started taking weight loss pills. She had been under the impression that she had used her own willpower to get the body she wanted. Ozempic is a diabetes drug that has become very popular in Hollywood among people who want to lose weight. Her size occupied 5 decades of space in her brain, yo-yoing and feeling like, why can't I conquer this thing? Believing willpower is my failing during an interview with People. Let's read a couple comments. Y'all better leave Ozempic alone and get you a Jamaican or a Nigerian man. You will lose the weight. Bitch, because he's stressing. Look at Porsha about to lose some. Bitch, Porsha about to lose some weight. You see that motherfucker is over there wearing her out? Girl. Like Simon Guobadia, if that is his last name, like he said, you play stupid games, win stupid prize. Porsha, your stupid prize is wearing your ass low. He don't even want the girl filming with the Rolls Royce he bought her. But then that just reminded me how dumb Porsha is. Because, bitch, why the fuck didn't you get that Rolls Royce put in your name, you dumbass donkey? Girl, when I tell you that's a dummy, that is a dummy. And I know when Kenya be up there kikiing and smiling, talking about the dynamic duo, in her head, she's saying that bitch is a dummy. Because ain't no way. Porsha and Kenya can only be coming together to try to revive Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because Kenya, I don't get it. I don't get it, Kenya. Kenya's gonna have to explain to me what is going on with Porsha and why. And why. She harvests children. I have no remorse. Ozempic is not a weight loss drug. It's diabetes medication. Attaching her sickness to her medication with no evidence is nasty work. Gail said she had a stomach flu. She should have kept that info to herself. All her life, she had to fight. She's been trying to lose weight since I was a baby, since I was a kid too. Y'all remember when Oprah pulled out that all that meat on a wagon, pulled it out on stage, and she had on like that black, I'll never forget it. Her hair is beautiful. She had on like a black long sleeve turtleneck, some jeans and some black boots. I will never forget that image. And she pulled that wagon. It was a radio flyer wagon. That's what it looked like. Pulled it out on the stage with a bunch of meat sitting on it. Y'all remember that? I'll find a picture so I can put it up to remind you. Yeah. So y'all be sending me some funny stuff. So shout out to Oprah. Hopefully she's okay, and hopefully Gail didn't rip her drawers with her longtime friend. Girl, what's wrong with you? I would be mad. I'll be like, bitch, what the fuck would you tell everybody I had the stomach flu, and you know I'm taking these, and you know they're gonna put it together, bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? Girl. So Jeezy and Jeannie Mai's divorce finalized with undisclosed settlement reached. It says new court documents obtained by TMZ reveal that the former couple, who previously had a very public dispute over child custodies, allegations of abuse, and other unsavory details, have reached a resolution in their divorce proceedings. And this is what happens. And people who have gotten a divorce, understand that you have to say, this is why I want a divorce. This is when it's time for custody, when it's time to split things up. You have to detail why you want a divorce, things that happen in your divorce. So those things, because your marriage is public, the divorce is public, and therefore those records, unless you request to have them sealed, are also public. So people can go look at why you got a divorce and the details. So TMZ obtaining court documents is public record. So, and she's going to have to say everything about, or he, everything about the relationship. You have to detail. So, allegations of abuse. I'm sure that, we had a witness in the hotel that said they saw him push her down the stairs or something like that, or grab her on the stairs. Something happened on the stairs, and she had a witness for that. It says the agreement, the specifics of their agreement will be kept confidential, shielding information about custody arrangements, child support, division of property, and alimony from the public. I I don't know. It's so weird when I think about it. I think about how quickly people get married and then act like they quote value marriage. Like Jennifer Lopez, she values marriage so much she keeps doing it over and over and over again. Right? There's people who value marriage so much they do it over and over again. But I thought part of the value of doing that was because you get a quote life partner. Right? That's why the marketing around marriage is skewed. I really feel like the way marriage is marketed, they need to remove the love, the monogamy, and the forever from it, because that's not true. It's unnatural for people to make that kind of lifelong commitment unless you're a goddamn nun or a monk. But they're not in relationship with anybody. It's the relationship with themselves, and they make a vow of celibacy, right? But when you're in relationship with someone and you say, oh, I'm going to be monogamous. Monogamy is just an agreement between two people. It is not a natural state of, all these social constructs are not natural states of being, right? We always use the animal kingdom because they don't have any of the social structures that we have. So you watch them to see how are they getting along? How do the women, how do the female animals and the male animals, how do they interact with each other? All of these things that you try to live in this society, all the things that we have a construct around, is not natural and therefore unsustainable, right? And so when people, it's weird because I keep thinking about Contessa and Quad when they were talking about how quickly Porsha got married. And did we honestly think that was going to last forever? Like, please, right? Did we think Jeezy and Jeannie Mai were going to last forever? We don't think when these people get married that they're going to be married for a long time. And so the quote value of marriage and value of being a wife, really, there is no value in that when what you're getting married for, you can't even sustain. So how valuable is it? It's unsustainable. So the value that is placed in it is actually a false value. It's a false value, in my opinion. It's a false value because it's like y'all do it over and over and over again. You do it really fast. You don't put any thought into it. And then you produce what I call, it sounds awful, liabilities in the business, children, right? You produce children when you come together as a sole proprietorship, y'all come together, create a partnership, have a liability. You have to pay into that liability until it terms out at 18 years old. Both of you, both of you, both of you, right? Because in the law of the land is you take care of the child until it until it comes to its 18th birthday. They're not really an adult, but you don't have to take. They're considered a legal adult, so that you, as a caregiver or parent, are not legally obligated to take care of this person. And once they turn 18, you won't be, in trouble if you don't. The babies, like I keep saying, the children grow up before your marriage does. A lot of people get divorced. Like my parents got divorced. I was 3. I was 3 years old. My mother and father, it's so funny because I was looking at Ancestry. I was looking because I was going back and looking at my maternal. It's the maternal line. If y'all are in your Ancestry, go research your maternal line. It's the maternal line. So I was researching my maternal line, and I was looking, and it said my mother and father were married for 12 years. Were married for 12 years. I believe they were separated for a long time before the marriage was dissolved. I my mother and I we don't have them anymore because I don't deal with her. I'm estranged from her, but I'm so I am so thankful that as much of a pick me as she is, that she left my father, because my entire life would have been different if my mom had the mind of, and this is what's crazy when you think about, like, when you think about your family dynamics, like on my dad's side. Okay, like listen to this, I'm giving a little family stuff. On my dad's side, My grandmother, my aunt, my cousin, female cousin, my grandmother and my aunt both married men who abused them, who physically abused them. Probably, I know verbally. I saw my uncle talk shit to my aunt, verbally abuse them. Both women um, had to take care of the men who abused them, right? When they got older. Both men died before them. Hopefully, they are living and doing the things they want to do with their lives now that them niggas is dead. Okay. Yes, my grandfather and my uncle, who I'm talking about. That's on my dad's side. My dad marries my mom. My dad has witnessed abuse. He's witnessed the men in his family abuse my grandmother, abuse his aunts, abuse his sister. He's witnessed that. So what does he do when he gets into a relationship? He is physically abusive to my mother. Now listen to this. My mother, my grandmother was married to my mother's father. He was physically abusive. She left. She left. My mother got into a relationship. The man was, my father was physically abusive. She left. My father watched women not leave after being physically abused. So he was upset with my mother for divorcing him. And the story that I was told is that she kind of tricked him where she had left. He was violently abusive to my mother, like violently. And I don't think she was mentally there. I don't think she had the mental capacity to stay in a relationship that like that. And I'm so glad that she left. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, left her abusive husband. My mother left her abusive husband. Now what? Now look at this. Now here comes me. I get in a relationship with a man. Now my father didn't talk to my mother for years. They would come to like events for me and he would not speak to her. My piano recitals, he would not speak to her. He would not say nothing to her. And it was because she kind of tricked him. Basically, they had been separated. She told him, let's get back together. And then when they went to meet, she served him with divorce papers. So he did not speak to her. He was mad at her because in his mind, I can beat you up and you'll still stay because my mother stayed and my sister stayed and all my aunts stayed with the men who beat them up. So him getting a divorce, my mother leaving him was an ego thing. So he didn't speak to I don't think he spoke to my mom until my grandfather died. And then he spoke to her at the funeral. And then he actually didn't start speaking to her more until I cut them both off. When I cut them both off, they started, I think, like after my children came, they started speaking more. But catch this. And look at this is how cycles continue. I get into a relationship. The man becomes verbally abusive. I leave. Now catch this. Had I not left, I would have been just like my paternal grandmother and aunt, staying with men who eventually become disabled and you have to take care of them. That could have been me. Instead, I followed my maternal grandmother's path and my mother's path and left the man who abused me. Right? Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine if it's almost as though like here it is for you. Which path are you going to take? Are you going to be like your paternal elders? Or are you going to be like your maternal elders? Are you going to take the path and leave the man who abused you? Are you going to stay with the man who abused you and end up taking care of him because his health declines? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And I chose the maternal path. It's always the maternal line. Ain't that wild when you think about it? I could have been my other grandmother. I could have been, if I had that. I can't even imagine having the mindset to stay with somebody who physically harms me. I couldn't, because personally, I'm a Libra rising. So I'm going to look to even the scales. You understand me? If I feel you done me wrong, oh, it's my duty to even the scales. It's my duty to even the scales. So I'm not equipped to sustain or be in a abusive relationship. I'd probably end up on Snapped. That's just me being honest. That's why I be like, when I be watching these girls go through it with these men, I'm like, that I don't see how you keep doing it over and over and over again, because I'm the type, I would terminate your existence, because it's too much. It's too much. All of us have the ability and the capability to just lean all the way over to darkness and commit especially if you feel like you're being harmed and somebody's harming you. I'm gonna even the scales, my nigga. So it's your best bet to stay away from me. Because if you fuck with me, I don't lay down and take it. Like this idea that women lay down and take shit from niggas. No. Like I know that my grandmother probably fought back a lot. I'm sure she did. I don't know about my aunt. I don't even I have one vivid memory of my father harming my mother, being abusive. And I was 3 years old. It's like one of my first memories. And I'm so thankful that my mother wasn't such a pick me, that she had the programming and the codes to stay with somebody harming her. I'm so glad she left my father. I'm so glad that I didn't have them as my parents, because I would have witnessed abuse over and over and over again. And I'm so thankful that I grew up in a multi-generation home. I had my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, and it was always somebody. My grandmother, it was always somebody living there. So my grandmother was like, her home was open to people. It's always somebody was always on the couch. Somebody, my brother, my cousin, somebody was always on the couch. Me, my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather. I'm so thankful that I grew up in that home like that. And I'm so thankful that my mother did not stay with my father. I'm so thankful. And he was so mad at her for wanting a divorce. He was so mad at her that he did not speak to her. It didn't matter if they were doing something where they were co-parenting, he would not speak to her. And what pissed me off about, like, it was things that I had issues with my mom, is that she kept trying to talk to my dad. Like he was doing that. Like, how dare you? You motherfucker, you abused me. And then you gonna not speak to me? But that triggered some type of this need where she wanted to still kind of speak to him. Like she still wanted to be friendly with him. She still wanted to be friends with him. And I never understood. I'm like, that man harmed you. Why? Fuck him. Even though I had a relationship with my dad and we were like this until we weren't. Um, I was like, girl, why are you cool with him? You have scars on your body from this man. No, absolutely not. So I'm thankful that I did not experience that life as a child. It's not sustainable. And these people act like, oh, you like, okay, now let me get back to Contessa and Quad. When they were talking about how quickly what's her name got married. And then she was like, you don't get married that fast. And then she was like, well, we like this idea where in 2 years, at 2 years tops, you'll know if you're ready to marry somebody. And then you have this idea that you're going to do something for forever, and you're only going to do like a 2 year window. Like people be getting married, like 2 years is the mark to know whether you want to get married or not. And then you remember Quad and Contestant, she was like, you get married that fast, and you saying that you want to take care of my kids and it's that fast. And then she was like, you don't get married that fast the second time around. And then she said, it's not going to be that fast, but it's not going to be more than a year. You know, in 1 year that you want to spend the rest of your life with someone. You've known a person 365 days, and you are trying to spend a lifetime with them. How many days? That's a long time. And that's why the motherfuckers don't be lasting 8 years. But then y'all act like you value this thing. And I'm really trying to figure, like, the way that marriage is marketed is just like, it's not marketed well. I feel like it should be marketed more for like a business. But if it's marketed like a business, a lot of these men will not find partners. They won't, because a lot of these men, if you approach marriage instead of looking for love, and you got all kind of fucking hearts and shit in your eyes, you like dizzy eyes, you're overlooking things that you need to run a business, right? Is he good with money? Is he good with fixing things? Is he quick to anger? How is he under pressure? Is he flexible? Right? You can't be in a relationship with somebody for a length of time and they be this rigid, stoic. You can't change their mind, like this bullheaded person. That can't happen in a marriage. You have to be in a relationship, marriage, whatever, a long-term relationship. You have to be flexible because people change. People change. People change, and you have to be flexible. This idea that the day that you are married, you're going to be like that even 5 years, even a year from the time you got married, you might be a completely different person. That's why people wake up one day and be like, you know what? I don't really like this person. Why am I here? When the kids leave, you're like, I don't really like this motherfucker. I'm ready to go. We don't have nothing to talk about. We just sitting here looking at each other. The kids is gone. We don't have no reason really to be together. That's how a lot of people end up divorced. The kids go off to college, and then now the kids are traumatized because they were like, all this time, and now I got off to college, and now you calling me one day talking about you and daddy are about to get a divorce. What the fuck? What? But you knew and you saw it. Sometimes your parents are really good at hiding their conflict with each other from their kids. I mean, they do hear you screaming with the door closed or hollering and arguing with the door closed. But if you marketed marriage like a business, one, I think you would take more time in choosing a partner, a business partner. And two, it more than likely would last longer than 8 years. If you are really saying, hey, this makes sense. It makes sense. This is how we're going to do. You're good with this. You're good with this. I'm good with this. I'm good with this. Let's combine our resources and develop a business of family or whatever you want to call it. What do y'all think? Isn't, when you think about family dynamics and you think about your position in your family and what choices you could have made, and I'm so thankful that I rejected that social engineering to stay with somebody that abuses you. There's so many. I could have literally, like, I literally could have been like my paternal side of the women. When I tell you, they worship men on that side. Men come first. It's man, man, man. The women are. It's always a man gets the benefit of the doubt. The men come first. On my grandmother's side, it was not like that. The women left. My Aunt Yvonne, shout out to her. She's my ancestor. She watches over me. She didn't, she, until she died, half of her head was pink and half of her hair was purple. It would be either pink, purple, blue. Her hair was always different colors. My grandmother's sister, my Aunt Yvonne. Yes, my answer. My grandmother had, both grandmothers had a lot of had a few sisters. Um, but on this side, they didn't. On my maternal side, they didn't put up with that nigga shit. They didn't put up with niggas the way they did on the other side. And I'm about to tell you something. My cousin, my oldest cousin, my aunt's daughter, she married her like high school sweetheart, and she probably, if he didn't leave her, she probably would still be married to him because of that programming. Even though they had their issues, I think he was unfaithful. She would have stayed with him had he not. I truly believe she would have stayed with him had he divorced her. He left her. I truly believe she would still be married to him because it's just like that like you're socialized like that in that family to stay with men who aren't good for you. All my aunts with their husbands ain't, the niggas ain't, when I tell you the niggas ain't shit, fighting them, beating them, gambling, like the whole nine. other women, gambling, drinking, alcoholism, all that shit, abuse, violence, abuse, all of that, all of that. On this side, on my mom's side, the women were like, mm-mm. And then my aunt on my mom's side, my uncle, I'm sure he has his ways, but he's not no abusive, verbally abusive, physically. He's an upstanding dude, an educator, fucking creative, cultured, just a upstanding like dude, just always like in like centered. You know, I don't think I've ever seen my uncle upset, annoyed, maybe like annoyed with like some shit happening in the world or something, but even killed, always talk with this. He has a very, very deep, even kill voice, just like a calm, mellow dude. You would think he was on edibles. Like he's super cool, laughing, just on that side, on my dad's side, girl, them niggas. And all of the women are some form of male centered, male identified pick me. It's either a pick me, a mammy, a male identified. Like I was male identified. Like I always saw the man's point of view. I always took the man's side. I checked myself. Well, I didn't check myself. A woman on Facebook, I don't even know who it was to this day, checked me. And I had to step outside of myself and look back into what I was saying and reevaluate. And I was like, oh, bitch, you are male identified. That woman said, you caping for me. And I said, caping. I had never heard the term caping before, never. And I was like, what is she talking about? I'm caping for men. And that was it. She lit a fire under my ass. I had reevaluated how I approached everything, changed how I saw, everything. That one person. And like I said, it only takes one person. It only takes one person to say something to ignite a fire under your ass to change your whole walk. Like you were walking down this road and somebody said something to you and you took a different path. I can't even imagine having the programming to want to stay with somebody who is abusive to me and to like be like, ooh, so that you can stay married long. You know what I mean? Like dissolve that shit. It's no longer, it's making you sick. It's not beneficial to you. It's not beneficial to the offspring who's watching it. Get the fuck out. Same thing goes for dudes and like same gender relationships. Get out. If you're being harmed, if you're being mistreated, get the fuck out. Don't stay with people who mistreat you. Don't. But then y'all jump so fast into marriage like Jeannie, Mai, and Jeezy. How fast did they get married? Why did you get married so fast? How, like what? Like what? And you went, and me, I did the same thing. I went from never wanting to be married, never this, and I'm with this dude and he's like, let's go down to the masjid. Okay, here we go. We get married. And then a few weeks later, let's go to the state. This is as far as that is going to go. Ain't nobody going to the state and signing nothing. And you think I'm about to legally bind myself to you? I might be stupid. And I might have stayed in this relationship a year too long. Bitch, a year and a half too long. It's so crazy. It only lasted 3 years. It only lasted 3 years. A nigga went to jail. I claimed him on my taxes when he came back. He abused me. It happened so fast. And I was like, girl, are you about to deal with this? This has only been 3 years. You about to deal with this for your whole life? And if my dad, and see, this is when I was listening and taking guidance from my father because I was male identified. And so I felt like his advice was better than another woman's advice. And he encouraged me because he identified with the man. Instead of thinking about his daughter, he encouraged me to wait for him when he went to jail. And he went to jail for a year and a day. And my dad said, you would want somebody to do it for you. And I was still in like a people pleaser. I'm Virgo, unevolved Virgo at the time, still like in a people pleaser mode, wanting to do right by people and thinking like, yeah, I would want that done for me. But they wouldn't do that for you. And if they did do that for you, they're not going to be, quote, faithful or whatever. he's liable to have a kid in the time that you're gone in a year. That can happen, honey. Oh, you be gone for a year, motherfucker, have a whole child when you get out. And so I did that. And then when I would visit him, he was abusive in the visits. And I would tell my dad about it. And my dad said, then my dad changed his tune. If you don't leave him before he gets out, he's going to physically abuse you. My father knowing, because he used to be physically abusive too. So he's looking at this, right? And watching it. Me, I'm like, no, I don't think he'll do that. He's probably under stress from being in the jail and all this other stuff. Lo and behold, he comes home and he's abusive. He's abusive. 7 days after giving birth, he punched me in the face because I was trying to kick him out. After giving birth to a premature child. Motherfucker ain't shit when after giving birth to a premature child still in NICU, and you're kicking the father of the child out. That's how you know you ain't shit. And I have two babies. I have an 18-month-old and a baby in NICU. You gotta go. I can do this all by myself, nigga. By myself. Can you imagine if I had the programming to be like, it's my husband. I got a man, my husband.
But keep my husband out of it.
My man, girl. No.
Tired ass, po ass, raggedy ass, slow ass niggas.
Absolutely not. And I'm so glad I left when my children were young enough to not even remember their father chasing me in my home because I was trying to call 911, running from him after he hit me. And my son, 18 months old, sitting on the couch watching everything. Absolutely not. I said, never. You will never witness your mother. I made a promise to my children. You will never witness your mother being mistreated. Never, ever. You will never. I would rather them not see me with a man than see me with a man mistreating me. No, no. Because you do want your children to see somebody loving on you and giving you affection and stuff like that. I think in households with two parents, two caregivers, showing affection, being outward with your expressions of affection, I think is really good. Like mom and dads and mom and moms and dads giving affection, children seeing two people being affectionate to each other is good, I believe. But watching children also watch you being abusive to each other, how you talk to each other. I think you do a child a disservice when you stay in an abusive relationship because all you're doing, because they don't have any outside influence until they go off to school or something like that, that they think that what they're watching and how you're relating to your partner is normal. So jumping up and getting married so fast when you haven't even evaluated if this person would be a good business partner, more than likely the marriage is going to end because you're just in it for love. Love is fleeting. When the marriages are over, you're not talking about love at all. Love is not a strong foundation for a marriage. Sorry. That's how I feel. It's not strong enough. You have to have something else in the foundation than love and the expectation of monogamy. Because the niggas aren't monogamous, the women aren't monogamous. They're not, because it's unnatural. You are agreeing to an unnatural confinement, and then you get isolated in the marriage, and then that's how weird things start happening, and you're like, oh my god. And then you have to go through what I went through, like, oh my god, I got with this guy, and then, let me tell you, after he harmed me, my father said, I told you he was gonna do that. Nigga, you told me to wait for his ass too, motherfucker. I was so mad at my father. How dare you tell me he literally was like, I told you so. But you also told me to wait for him. Why would you do that? If you recognize, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can say, like, oh, we take care of our daughters, we take care of it. That's not true. There's a lot of men out there giving their daughters some fucked up advice on how to relate to men, like my dad did me. And I'm thinking, as a male identified woman at the time, young woman, oh, he's giving me game. He did give me some game. A lot. But he didn't give me advice that for a woman. It was almost like he was talking to another, like a little boy, like he was talking to my brother. Like he was like the same advice he would probably give my brother is like he was probably giving me. It was like weird. Like who tells their daughter to wait for somebody who goes to jail? You should have been, he should have been like, girl, take your baby and go. Do not go back. Do not look back, nothing. And then when I was telling him about how our visits were going, he was like, he's going to physically abuse you when he comes home. And he did it. And then my dad was like, almost like reveling, like, I told you so. Nigga, what? I'm cool on you, bro. I told you so. And then after he abused me, my father did not come to Atlanta to see about me. Nobody came, as a matter of fact, to see about me. I really felt that had I stayed in Atlanta, I would probably be dead or he would be dead. Because I told my mom, if my baby dies, my second son who was born at 29 weeks, I said, if my baby dies, I'm ending that man's life. I promise you. I told my mother that. And you take my son because I'm going to jail. If this little baby, this little 3-pound baby, if he dies, because his little lungs weren't developed, they had to give me steroids so his little lungs can develop. I told my mom, if he dies, I'm him. I promise you. Yes, bitch. I was ready. Let this baby die. Let him die. I'm gonna wear you out. It's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flowers bringing. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. If your abuse would have took my son out, I would have took that lady's son out. Promise you. You don't get to take my son out, and yours don't get taken out, sweetheart. Yeah, I have the ability. I think a lot of people have the ability. Do something to me, I'll take your ass out of here. It's not gonna be me. It's definitely gonna be you, and I just have to suffer the consequences because it's definitely gonna be you. It ain't gonna be me. And these motherfuckers will try to kill you one way or another through making you sick physically, psychologically, mentally, financially. They will wear you out as much as you allow them to do it. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then I went on to be in a relationship with a narcissist that actually lasted longer than the relationship with the boy's father. And that was the last relation. That was it. I was like, no more cishet men in close proximity to me. They're too violent. And how they relate to women, I just can't. And me, my personality, I'm a free spirit. I'm not into I'm unconventional. That's why I probably should be with someone who is unconventional too. Like not someone who is raised with this idea that a testament to who you are as a man is how well you control a woman. Girl, go away from me with that.
I just, girl, stop.
And then when you tell them, like, okay, let's do it open, like let's have an open relationship. They want to be open. They want you to be sick and stupid in love and fucked up in limerence. They want you to be fucked up. When you tell a man you want to be in an open relationship, he can't. It doesn't. He's like, what? What? You're the one that's supposed to want a monogamous relationship. You're the one that's supposed to think that men are just going to be men. And so when he does cheat on you, you take him back because that's what men do. Right. So that's just what he does. So since that's embedded in the way that he shows up in society, you're more than likely to excuse him putting your life at risk by sticking his dick in another woman without you consenting to him being open, y'all being open. They want to do open. They want you to be. That's why a lot of y'all are in relationships with single men. Y'all are married to single men. Not y'all, but y'all. I know y'all right in here. Y'all know what it is. It might be those back there. I gotta go. I think we've talked enough. Take care of each other. That was a good talk, wasn't it? That's what I'm saying. Like jumping and hopping and skipping and falling in love and diving into marriages and stuff, and you don't even know the person. You only know them 1 or 2 years, and now all of a sudden you see them mad and angry walking around the house with guns and AKs and shit. And you're like, well, maybe this wasn't a good idea. And what's even more fucked up in the Jeannie Mai situation, she didn't want children. She didn't want children. And then she had a child, and then she wanted another one. So the child, I guess, can have a playmate. But girl, that's not guaranteed. I don't speak to my biological brother. He grew up to us and assaulted me. So we don't speak to each other at all. He's actually dead to me. So we don't speak. We don't, it will be nothing ever, never again. Once you put your hands on me, you dead. Dead. So either you dead, you want to die, motherfucker. So don't think because you give your child a sibling, my point is that they're going to grow up and love each other. Even on my, I don't know what they do with my cousin and her brother. Girl, I don't know. Anyways, y'all, I'm out of here. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like about marriage, about like go like, and then this is what I really want to say. I just want to reiterate this. When you're doing your ancestry, go to your maternal line. That's the line that is going to give you the most insight into who you are. It's the maternal line. It's the maternal line. Okay. I remember I was on my dad's side, and I had gone up the ladder, and then something in me said it's the maternal line. It's always the maternal line. And then I started going on my mom's side and looking at my grandmother, my great grandmother, and I'm all the way up to my fourth great grandmother. My fourth great grandmother, I am. And based on what's in the ancestry, her and I have a similar name. Her name was America. Isn't that crazy? And then I was telling Dee yesterday, like, and when I'm looking at the names of the women on my mom's side, each of the women coming after have a similar name or have the name of their grandmother within their name. Like my mom's middle name is my great grandmother's first name, and my grandmother's name was my great grandmother's mother's name. And then what's crazy is I didn't know my mother. I think the story is that they thought I was a boy, and they were naming Eric. A name starts with an E. My father's name starts with an E as well, and so she wanted to give me a name with an E, because I was a boy, but Erica. And then what my name means, what the name Erica means, it's just like so many things when you like step outside of it and you look at your life and the path that and what your name means, what time you were born, your family dynamics. It's just like when we said yesterday, you choose your family, when your soul chooses your family. And some people can't accept that, especially if they were put into a family that was harmful to them growing up. But I believe that we do choose our parents, and it's like a karma. It's a karma. It's a thing about karma, and your parents, you learn karmic lessons through your parents, and the family that your soul chose. So it's crazy that what my name is, and then learning what my great 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 grandmother's name is, and how it's like a name. The way that the women are named, there's something about they're given the name of the woman before them. And I don't even know if my mom knows that. I don't know if she knows that, if she's gone up the line to see what the great 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 grandmother, like her great great grandmother, great 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 grandmother, my great 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 grandmother, what her name is and how it's similar to mine. Her name was America. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy when you look at your ancestry. It's also sad when you look at the age of the girls and the ages that they were married, and then how long they were married. Yeah, it's a trip. So anyways, the maternal line, with all that said. Anyways, take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.